Welcome back. A 30314 zip code has this distinction of being one of the toughest neighborhoods in Metro Atlanta. 40% of those who live there are below the federal poverty level. But one man's vision has turned a small, rundown church into a city of refuge on the west side. West side that's actually helping change people's lives. And he's joining us now to tell us all about his journey that has helped many transform their lives. Welcome, Bruce Steele.
Thank you.
Bruce, thank you so much. You're very humble about all that you've done over in that area. And you were telling me about how this all started. You came to actually close a church in the area.
I did. 22 years ago, I was invited downtown on a 6-month consulting assignment to close a little church and sell the property. And 5 or 6 weeks into that assignment, a young lady walked in crisis, and at the end of our service said, "Can you help me?" And our answer was yes. And that led to somebody else coming, and we left our position and started pastoring a church and started City of Refuge 22 years ago to bring light, hope, and transformation.
What did it mean to see these people whose lives were so different from yours and mine?
Well, it was a cultural shock for us, right? I grew up in the mountains of Virginia. I'm a country boy, and I was north of Atlanta here on staff. And when I came downtown, obviously it's just a different environment. And so we had to adjust to that. My family and I, we had 4 daughters at the time, actually moved in that little church. And so we lived there for 6 years and had the opportunity to experience 34 break-ins and 3 vehicles stolen, and spent some time in Superior Court with guys that wanted to kill me. So it was a bit of a shock along the way.
And you have turned this into really a memoir, a book.
We have. We wrote in partnership with Simon Sinek and Optimism Press, Trust First, that was just released a couple days ago to tell that story of those 22 years. And it's really a story of about a half a dozen lives that we were impacted, that impacted us as we impacted them over those 22 years.
And most of us know, we call that area the Bluff.
We do.
Just out, you can see the stadium from there. What perhaps is one of the most compelling or memorable characters, folks that you met in changing these lives?
You know, there are 1,000 of those over the 22 years. We met Ryan 14 years ago. He had been part of the Gangster Disciples out of Ohio for 14 years, and in and out of incarceration and addiction and all kind of things. And now 14 years later, Ryan owns his own security company here in Atlanta, is well established, is doing a great job, has moved past all of his past barriers and obstacles to employment and success. And, you know, we get to see that sort of opportunity every day.
And you've helped people of victims of sexual abuse, some trafficking.
We do. We've housed more than 750 women that have been rescued or escaped from sexual trafficking and exploitation in the past 6 years, and have multiple locations where we house them in both triage, emergency care, safe houses, and also long-term programs up to 18 months.
Who's doing this with you? Who's doing this very special work?
You know, the city's doing this with us. It's just really, it's a phenomenal thing that we've been able to see. Corporations, individuals, churches. I believe all of us are born with this desire to help others, and sometimes we're just looking for the right place where we can be good stewards of our resources. But Chick-fil-A and SunTrust and Coca-Cola and the City of Atlanta are just a few of those that have come alongside of us. Napa and Genuine Parts and UPS. So a lot of those Atlanta-based companies, and then most of the churches in Atlanta that are of any size have come alongside. So it's been a collective impact approach to what we do.
Has there ever been anyone you thought you just couldn't help them?
Well, there's somebody every day I think I can't help.
Really?
So, but we move beyond that. That's why it's called Trust First. It's not about what we think. Right, so we try to start every day with a blank slate and say, whatever happened yesterday. Let's start today and see if we can do something good together.
Have you always been like this? Have you always been so positive? And I can't imagine you having a day that's down where you're depressed. We take so much for granted. And these people are living on the streets, don't have much to live for. Have you always been so positive?
I think so. My dad was a minister and a missionary around the world, so it was sort of instilled in me from the beginning. And when I got here, and my wife is a big part of that, Rhonda, she's just this outgoing, optimistic. She declares that she's the color in my black and white rainbow. Oh. And so she's helped drive that along the way.
And kids? You have kids?
We have 5 daughters.
Wow.
And 5 daughters, 3 married, my 5th grandchild on the way now. They've all grown up in the ministry that we have there and been a part of it, and still a very involved in part of it and what we do there. So it's been a great journey, and I just wake up every day and believe that this is another day to do good.
Oh, it definitely is. And this has got to be a film. This has got to be on the big screen. When are we going to see that?
Well, I don't know. We are in conversations about a docuseries about the story, but it has some remarkable twists and turns in the past 22 years.
What's one of the biggest twists?
You know, I guess the biggest twist is we have been there 22 years now, so we've come to a place where many people in the city believe in what we're saying and what we're trying to do. Early on, when I presented our idea, not a lot of folks thought it was a good idea. 22 years later, with 20,000 lives impacted, people are starting to believe it's a good idea.
And once the stadium came up, what were you thinking about that?
You know, we love it. We love the beauty of the stadium and the emphasis around the West Side now with Mr. Blank, Dan, Kathy, and West Side Future Fund and all that's taking place. We're really energized about what's going on. It does present a challenge for some of our folks, that economic displacement and gentrification. So we're working hard to protect the residents in our community, but really excited about the revitalization that's taking place.
So proud of what you're doing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Trust First, a true story about the power of giving people second chances by Bruce Deal is available now wherever books are sold. It's a powerful and moving memoir, as you can see, about giving second or even third, fourth chances to people who need them. Bruce, we are so appreciative of all your work.
Thank you very much.
And when we come back, an inspirational story about one woman's fight for equality in sports. So it doesn't stop here. We'll be right back.